like it. Many people do not. Many people look at reading as though it's a chore. But I'm going to tell you today about all the good things, all the positives about reading that there are. Reading is a great way to relax, it's a great way to learn new things, and it's a great way to gain new perspectives about life. When you read, you get to enter into this whole new world that isn't a part of your world. It takes you into this escape from your reality, from all the stress, from any kind of bad things, and you just get to put yourself into this new place and experience other things. Which brings me to my first quote. In A Dance with Dragons by George R.R. Martin, he says, "A reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies. The man who never reads lives only once," which is so true. When you read, you put yourself in this person's perspective and you get to live their life. You get to have this experience that in the book would take a lifetime, but you get it when you read and while you still have your natural life. It's a good way to see the world in different ways. You can gain perspective that you normally may not have otherwise because you're seeing it from this other person's point of view, or maybe even third person's point of view, and it gives you all these ideas and stuff that you may not have had otherwise. It's also good for emotional purging, which is part of my next point. In the online blog called Every Day is an Adventure by Lindsay, she says, "Reading helps kids develop empathy. As my 15-year-old son said to me when we were discussing it, of course it does, because you're identifying with the character in the story, so you're feeling what he's feeling. When you read, you become this character that you're reading from perspective, and you feel what he's feeling, you see what he's seeing, you experience all these things that he is experiencing, and you may gain this empathy that is part of what makes us human, and you learn how to perceive things from other people's emotional perspective, from their physical perspective, from anything like that. And it's good for you, it's good for you emotionally, it's good for you mentally. It's also a good thing to read to kids because, like I said, many people see reading as a chore. They don't see it as something that is a fun pastime. They see it as like homework or something. Oh, I have to do this. But in an online article called 10 Reasons Why You Should Read to Your Kids, their 10th point, which is the one that I thought was most important, says, "The knowledge that reading is fun. Early reading for toddlers helps them view books as an indulgence, not a chore," which is so true, because when you're small and you start out reading, normally you have a parent or somebody older read to you, and they'll read you your children's books. When you're little, you look forward to that. If they read to you, say, every night before you go to bed or something like I did, you look forward to this because you see it as fun. You see it as a time to spend with your family or parent or whoever, and you grow up with this mental image that reading isn't something bad, it's not something that's going to just drag you down and waste your time. You see it as something that is a good thing to do, you see it as something fun, and you actually grow up liking it. Which many people, the only time they read is maybe they get assigned something to read for homework, which normally isn't always the most fun thing to read, but it does help with your education because reading also, you always learn something new when you read, no matter what you're reading. It helps you with your grammar because you see words and you hear it and you hear it in your mind and you can speak better. And so it's always good to learn something. It's also a good safety factor because it also helps with just kind of natural common sense. I saw something the other day that I wanted to mention while I was at work, and because it just made me stop and think, why don't people read? They were painting the doors on the restrooms and then on our break room, and they had their doors propped open so that you could tell there was something going on, and there was this huge sign out front that said, "Caution, wet paint," and then it said, touch the metal part of the door, not where it had been painted. Well, I go over there and I see paint like where it had been rubbed off from fingerprints all over where people had touched it. And I just stopped and I thought, what is so hard about reading this huge sign that's right here? Which, I mean, just simple things like that, even if you just read bumper stickers or signs or labels on something you may need, it can help you with your life, because like if you have an allergy, you read on the label, you know not to eat that food. So it's a good thing to help you, and it can keep you safe. It's something that we as a society should all do. We should all be better readers, even if it's just something as simple as reading the signs on the road, reading the signs outside the door with wet paint. And that's all for today.